I remember sitting across from a man one evening, a quiet man, humble, the kind of person you could walk right past and never realize the weight of wisdom he carries. We talked about faith, about life. And in my mind, I thought I knew everything already. I had formed opinions based on headlines, conversations, jokes people told in rooms where truth was never invited. But that night, that man didn't argue, didn't debate, didn't try to convert me. He simply lived his faith in front of me. And in his calm, his discipline, his peace, I realized something I never expected. I was completely wrong. There are moments in life that shake your understanding of the world, moments that rearrange you from the inside out. This was one of those moments. See, real growth begins the second you admit, maybe I don't know what I think I know, and that is where my journey began. The first key point is that I thought I already knew everything I needed to know. I thought I understood the world, understood people, understood faith just because I had heard enough voices repeat the same narrative over and over. But repetition isn't truth. Echoes aren't evidence. I didn't grow up around Muslims. I didn't study their faith. I didn't sit down with their families. Yet I was comfortable forming opinions based on stereotypes, spoken in rooms where real understanding never existed. And the dangerous part is, not only did I believe those opinions, I believed them with confidence. There's a certain arrogance in thinking you're informed when all you've really done is listen to noise. I had allowed assumptions to shape my perception. I was walking around with borrowed beliefs, and you never realize how heavy those borrowed beliefs really are until you try to put them down. I remember the exact silence that follows self-awareness. The moment you realize your opinions have no roots. It's like pulling up a plant you thought was a tree and realizing it's a weed that never should have been there. I didn't build my ideas from experience. I inherited them from conversations created in fear, mockery, misunderstanding, and distance. I had accepted other people's conclusions without ever doing my own research. That's the kind of laziness that damages our humanity. It's easy to judge a culture you've never touched. It's easy to laugh at something you've never tried to understand. It's easy to fear what you've never approached with curiosity. But growth doesn't live in easy. It lives in questioning what you've been taught to accept without thought. And what struck me most when I look back is that it wasn't just about Islam. It was about how we do this in every part of life. We build opinions about people from a distance. We look at entire groups, entire communities, entire nations, and we reduce them to whatever story is trending that month. We never slow down to ask, who told me this? What do they know? And why did I believe them so fast? Many of us never ask those questions because we are afraid of the answers. It's not always ignorance that blinds us. It's the comfort of being unchallenged. It feels easier to stay uninformed than to admit you might have been wrong for years. But life has a way of bringing truth to your doorstep when you least expect it. For me, it wasn't a debate, a documentary, or a religious argument. It was simply observing someone live their faith with a dignity I could not deny. No performance, no boasting, no pressure, just presence. And sometimes presence speaks louder than preaching. That's when it hit me. There are things in this world you cannot understand until you get close enough to feel the sincerity behind them. You can't learn warmth from a photograph of a fire. You have to sit close enough to feel the heat. And admitting I had misunderstood wasn't easy. Let's be honest, pride is loud. Pride wants to be right more than it wants to be wise. Pride will defend a lie just to avoid the discomfort of correction. But the truth is this: you cannot grow and protect your pride at the same time. One of them has to be sacrificed. And when I finally laid my pride down, I felt something I didn't expect. Freedom. There's a freedom in saying, I didn't know, but I'm willing to learn now. Because the real journey of understanding doesn't begin when you are right. It begins the moment you are willing to admit you might be wrong. The second key point is that real faith cannot be understood through headlines, rumors, or the loudest voices in the room. Real faith is recognized by the heart. What I encountered when I truly saw Islam up close was not the noise the world likes to amplify. It wasn't anger or extremism or division. It was discipline. A discipline so intentional that it shapes every part of daily life. People waking before sunrise to pray when the rest of the world sleeps, not because someone forces them, but because they choose to remember God before they remember themselves. That kind of devotion stopped me. It made me ask myself, when was the last time I disciplined myself for something greater than comfort? Faith isn't about convenience, and what I saw was a faith committed to consistency. That level of commitment is something you can only respect once you witness it with your own eyes. What surprised me most was the calm, not the loud, look at me kind of religious expression. A quiet calm that comes from knowing who you are, who you belong to, and what your life is rooted in. It reminded me that true faith doesn't need to announce itself to the world. It doesn't need a stage, applause, or validation. It simply is. I saw Muslims pray in rooms where nobody was watching. I saw them pause their day for something sacred, even when schedules were tight. It showed me that faith is not just a belief, it's a rhythm that restructures your relationship with time, ego, desire, and responsibility. And I realized something: if your faith does not shape your habits, then your faith may just be a slogan you're repeating. And then there was gratitude, real practice gratitude, the kind that is not dependent on circumstances. I witnessed people say, Alhamdulillah, thank God, in moments where most would complain. Not a forced smile, not fake positivity, not pretending pain doesn't exist, but a sincere acknowledgement that every moment, even the hard ones, is part of a greater plan. That level of gratitude isn't accidental. It is trained over years of reflection and acceptance. It made me understand that gratitude is not about having everything. It's about recognizing the value in what you already have. A person who can thank God through struggle is a person who understands strength in its purest form. I also saw generosity practiced in a way that felt sacred, not charity done for attention, not giving for the sake of reputation, but giving because the faith itself demands compassion. The idea that your blessings are not meant to stay in your hands. They are meant to move, meant to touch others, meant to feed, heal, support, uplift. And this wasn't done only on holidays or when it felt good. It was scheduled, integrated, a part of identity. There is something profoundly powerful about a community that considers its neighbor's well-being a religious duty, not an optional act of kindness. Respect was another pillar that became clear. Respect for elders, respect for parents, respect for teachers, respect for the Creator. It wasn't the kind of respect that is demanded out of fear. It was the kind that comes from understanding your place in the world. A kind of humility that doesn't shrink you, but aligns you. In a world where pride is marketed as power, humility felt revolutionary. I saw that humility is not weakness. Humility is standing strong without needing to stand above anyone. And through all of this, I learned the most important truth. You cannot judge a faith by the worst of its followers. You judge it by the sincerity of its best. Every religion has people who fail to live its teachings. Every religion has those who distort, who manipulate, who misrepresent. But that does not define the faith. It only defines the individual. When you see the faith lived purely, lived sincerely, lived consistently, it becomes impossible to deny the beauty in it. And that beauty speaks a language deeper than words. The third key point is that humility is the doorway to understanding. And humility doesn't mean thinking less of yourself. It means making room inside yourself for something new. I had to learn that the mind can't receive anything when it's already convinced it knows everything. I walked into conversations about Islam with my chest out and my ears closed. I didn't come to understand. I came to confirm what I already believed. And when you approach anything in life like that, another culture, another faith, another human being, you don't learn, you judge. You don't listen, you prepare your rebuttal. Humility is what allows you to slow down long enough to realize that maybe your perspective isn't the only framework truth can fit inside, and that realization is where growth begins. It was uncomfortable, I'll admit it. Letting go of certainty feels like stepping off solid ground. Pride makes us feel safe because pride tells us we're right. But pride also isolates us. It keeps us trapped inside our own assumptions. When I first acknowledged I might have misunderstood Islam, I felt something shift in me, a quiet cracking of the walls I had built. And that cracking didn't feel like breaking. It felt like expanding. The world became bigger. People became more complex. God became more vast than I had ever allowed him to be before. Humility doesn't reduce you. Humility stretches you. I started to realize that every major breakthrough in my life came the same way, through correction. When I learned to work harder, it was because someone told me I was doing enough, but I wasn't. When I learned to love better, it was because I was confronted with how selfish I could be. Growth has always been born out of being challenged. So why would faith be any different? If I only surround myself with what sounds familiar and comfortable, I will live in a small world. And small worlds make small minds. To understand anything deeply, you have to be willing to feel uncomfortable for a while. Discomfort is the hallway you walk through on your way to wisdom. What humbled me most was realizing that I had judged something without ever witnessing the heart behind it. That's not intelligence. That's not awareness. That's not discernment. That's just ego. And ego is loud. Ego tells you you're right even when your understanding is paper thin. Ego wants to be respected but refuses to do the work that earns respect. The minute I recognized that, I had to ask myself, was I defending truth or was I defending the image of being someone who believes he already knows the truth? That question alone will bring any person to their knees. When I finally approached Islam with genuine curiosity instead of arrogance, I didn't just see a religion. I saw sincerity, discipline, reverence, and heart. I saw people living with direction when so many of us live scattered. I saw a commitment to God that didn't need applause. And when I let myself see it, really see it, something inside me softened. Humility didn't take away my identity. It didn't take away my faith. It didn't diminish me. It made room for respect. It made room for understanding. It made room for connection. And the truth is, you cannot learn from someone you look down on. You cannot understand someone you refuse to meet at eye level. You cannot receive wisdom while protecting your pride. Humility is not weakness. It is the highest form of strength because it takes strength to say, I don't know. It takes strength to listen instead of argue. It takes strength to allow your worldview to be expanded. And that strength is what opens the door to seeing the humanity, the being, beauty, and the truth that was always there. You were just too guarded to notice it. The fourth key point is that love is the bridge every faith is trying to build. At the core of every spiritual teaching, every scripture, every prayer is the desire to connect to God, to each other, and to ourselves in a meaningful way. And yet, somewhere along the journey, we start to believe that our differences define us more than our similarities. We start to protect our identity like a territory, instead of recognizing it as a gift to be shared. What I learned is that when you strip away the rituals, the languages, the customs, what remains is the pursuit of love. Love expressed through kindness, through respect, through service, through empathy. Islam didn't teach me something foreign. It reminded me of something I already knew but had forgotten. Love is the foundation, the purpose, the goal. I realized that we often confuse uniformity with unity. We think in order for us to coexist peacefully, we must be the same. But real unity isn't built by sameness. It is built by understanding. We don't have to pray the same way to honor God. We don't need identical traditions to share wisdom. We don't have to erase our identities to recognize our shared humanity. I saw families in Islam who loved deeply. I saw communities who protected one another like brothers and sisters. I saw a reverence for parents that felt sacred. I saw love expressed through action, not just words. And I understood that love is not defined by the symbol you wear or the building you worship in. Love is defined by how you treat people when the world is not watching. One of the most powerful things I witnessed was how love shows up in discipline. Praying 5 times a day is not simply ritual. It's love expressed as remembrance. It's choosing to pause life to honor the one who gave life. Fasting during Ramadan is not just abstaining from food. It's love expressed as empathy for those who suffer. Giving charity is not about generosity. It's love expressed as responsibility. Every practice, every act of worship was tied back to the heart. And when love is tied to the heart, it becomes strong enough to endure struggle, sacrifice, and time. It becomes love that holds shape. Love that is not swayed by mood, exhaustion, or circumstance. Love you are committed to, not just emotionally drawn to. And yet, so many misunderstand this faith because they only see the surface. They see rules and assume restriction. But what I learned is that the rules are there to protect love, not replace it. Love without discipline becomes chaos. Love without respect becomes selfishness. Love without responsibility becomes temporary. Every faith that lasts because it teaches people how to love with intention, and intention is stronger than temporary emotion. When love becomes discipline, it becomes a lifestyle. It becomes a force that shapes your decisions, your priorities, your identity, your legacy. I also came to understand that the world benefits when love is expanded, not contained. When we respect one another's faith, we don't weaken our own. We strengthen the thread that holds humanity together. You don't lose your identity by understanding someone else's. You deepen it. You become richer, wiser, fuller. Listening to someone else's truth doesn't erase yours. In fact, it often clarifies what you stand for. Love is not threatened by knowledge. Love grows when understanding grows. And ultimately, what changed me was realizing that God's love is too vast to belong to any one group. God belongs to anyone who seeks Him sincerely. And every faith that encourages compassion, gratitude, humility, and service is touching the same divine source. We may travel different paths, speak different prayers, follow different traditions, but the destination is the same, a heart that reflects love instead of fear. So when I say I was completely wrong, I don't say it with shame, I say it with gratitude. Because being wrong opened a door I didn't even know was locked inside me. It allowed me to see people I once misunderstood. It allowed me to recognize the depth of a faith I once judged from a distance. It allowed me to grow, not just in knowledge, but in compassion, in clarity, in wisdom. And this isn't just about Islam. This is about every place in our lives where we choose assumption over understanding, where we choose pride over curiosity, where we choose fear over love. If there is one thing I hope you take from this journey, it is this. Do not let the world tell you who people are. Go see them for yourself. Sit with them, learn from them, ask questions, listen, not to respond, but to understand. Because once you look into someone's heart, labels fall apart, narratives fade, and what remains is the truth that we were never meant to stand on opposite sides of anything. We were created to walk toward one another. Growth is not found in being right. Growth is found in being willing to become more than you were yesterday. And if you can allow yourself to soften, to learn, to unlearn, to see the humanity in places you never looked before, then your world will expand too. Your heart will widen. Your faith will deepen. Your character will rise, because in the end, we are all searching for connection to God, to purpose, to each other. And when you finally open your mind enough and your heart enough to truly see others, not as strangers, not as categories, not as headlines, but as souls on their own journey towards something greater, that's when you realize we were never as different as we thought.